You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Hey entrepreneurs, it's your podcast mogul Phil Better here. I am excited for this episode as I know you are. Before we jump into this episode, I'm going to ask you if you are also a podcaster and you're looking to grow your podcast or monetize your podcast, make sure you stay till the end of the episode. I have a special deal for you, or a special offer, if you will. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's jump into the episode.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better, the podcast mogul, and I'm happy to introduce our guests today. They are the visionary CEO and entrepreneur who is reshaping the on-demand concierge sector through Swiftly's group innovative platform. With a relentless focus on excellence and innovation, our guest leads the charge in refining the Swiftly Group's platform and delivering exceptional services to their users. His visionary leadership and commitment to transformational solutions have positioned Swiftly Group as a game changer in the industry. Our guest's unwavering dedication to the excellence and customer satisfaction propels Swiftly Group towards a future of unprecedented success. With this visionary mindset, our guest anticipates emerging trends, embraces cutting-edge technologies, and inspires his team to develop tailored, personalized solutions. Please put your hands together for the CEO of Swiftly, Cameron Black. Cameron, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Phil, for having me. And wow, what an intro. Now, with that type of intro, do I even need to go ahead? Do I need to be here?
No, I think we could just end the show right now. That was it. Thank you so much, Cameron. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Cameron, thank you so much for being here and being on the show.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having us.
I read this beautiful little intro that pretty much summarizes a bit about you more and glorifies who you are, and which rightly deserved with what you've done with the Swiftly Group. But I want you to introduce yourself to my audience so they can get to know you a bit better and on a different way from your own words.
Sure. So, guys, as you know, my name's Cameron. I am the CEO and founder of Swiftly, which is a 24-hour on-demand concierge app. Swiftly isn't, of course, my first journey to entrepreneurship, which is why I'm here. I've had sort of many renditions of other versions, and I'm here to really sort of tell your listeners more about journey into entrepreneurship, a little bit about Swiftly and why they must keep going and follow their dreams.
I love that, and I love that you're keep building on your previous successes to be the giant that you want to become in the future. Let's start with the beginning. Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur? Like, what was it that sparked the entrepreneurial bug in you?
I don't think it was a decision to become an entrepreneur. It was just, you grow up as a kid and we see things that we want, whether it's fast cars or whether it's beautiful houses or clothes or vacations. And we look at our favorite football players, in my case, and we aspire to be like them. And, or the CEO of a company, and we aspire to be like him or her. And it's just who you want to replicate. And in my case, the DNA was entrepreneurship. And here I am today as a so-called entrepreneur, but it wasn't that journey. And my journey was, well, hey, listen, what if we could do X? We could end up with Y. And if we could do Y, we could do ABC. And if ABC could happen, then we could do 1, 2, 3. And it just spiraled out of control. And I'm here with Swiftly today.
So, were you in a family of entrepreneurs? Like, was that something that was fostered in your childhood, or was this something that you just had and your parents were doing the 9 to 5 stuff and you were like, no, that's not for me. I want to go off into this direction and solve these XYZ problems?
It's interesting you should ask. So the answer is yes, I do come from a family full of entrepreneurs, but I never actually have seen that. So I've always been kept away from that. It's just the 9 to 5. You never know what your father or your mother's really doing. You just see them go to work and you come home, and it never really kind of clicks. Growing up in London, my mother and her brother owned a shop. It was one of the first African Caribbean shops in South London, to name. And so they would ship or fly in products weekly, fresh produce from all around the world into the store. And I remember going in there a few times, and I would sit behind the cash register with my mom, and all I would wait for was the till to open where I can get some coins, like 20p's, to go and play Space Invaders or Pac-Man. and that's what I cared about, and chewing flavored bubble gum. But well, I suppose some of this kind of rubbed off for me, because I then actually, in an early age, I was buying sweets and selling it during school. But I found a way to actually get the money to buy the sweets, and to get the money wasn't through pocket money. It was actually through a very weird way where we lived on a corner house, and people wanted to park, but I would obviously take money for them to park temporarily. What the drive we needed to do so I could get money to go and buy sweets with my cousins in the morning or the next day. And so that's how it really sort of started, thinking about it. And that's the real truth. And I moved on to high school where we would sell like denim jeans and these old, you remember the old school Ralph Lauren polo jackets and these polo tops, and just would buy them for like $30 and sell them for $35, because we could leave school. We were seniors, and the juniors couldn't, but they wanted them. And they're like what they do now with, I think, Adidas and Nike, they do these exclusive drops. So we'll buy them. It might be five of these polos in the store. We buy them and we'll go and sell them. And that really kind of, I think, was the catalyst to me saying, right, you know what? When I grow up, I remember this, I was probably about 15, 16, I want to be a millionaire. And I remember one of these guys looked at me and saying, you want to be a millionaire, but how are you going to do that? And I looked at him, that's a very good question. All I do know is millionaires ride around in black cabs and they drink coffee and smoke cigarettes and wear pinstripe suits all day. And I want to be just like that. And the rest is history. Yeah.
I love that. I love how you, even from a young age, you didn't know it, but you were born into the entrepreneurial world. You thought it was a 9 to 5, and it became a 9 to 5. And then you hustled your way and you figured out what you wanted. How did the founding of the Swiftly group come to be? Like I'm guessing it started with one thing and then you started clumping other things together.
Swiftly is actually very interesting. So Swiftly was born out of my frustration for wanting everything now and yesterday. Me personally, not the consumers, but just me personally, I can be very impatient. So if I've ordered the phone, I want it now. I don't want it yesterday. Can you get it to me 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? If not, tell me where it is and I'll go and pick it up now. If I'm doing a transaction, I went into real estate, and if I was doing a transaction back then, with the lender or the underwriters, I'm going to take the signed document to you now. So you can give me a decision in principle now, because I want to know whether we've got enough money to buy the property or not. And so the impatience in me is everything gathered and swiftly was born out of. So living in Europe for a few years, I lived in Europe as an expat, and I came back to England. And when I came back to England, we had then had Uber. When I left, we never. So we had Uber, and I mean, your equivalent of DoorDash and Postmates. And I don't live too far from the center point of London, but it's now taking me almost an hour to get home. And as I said, I'm very impatient. So if it's 20 minutes, now it's an hour. I'm throwing my toys out of the pram, as they say. I got to get the dog out for a walk. I got to pick up my suit. I want to do some shopping and all of these other things I can't do. So would it be cool to get someone to do all of these things for you? Because we can afford it. I mean, lifestyle is affordable. It's not a luxury, it's affordable. Get someone to do all of these cool things for us, and then we just go home and put our feet up and spend more time with ourselves, our family, and our loved ones. And there was nothing out there. In real truth, we're doing 2017-ish. I mean, I know there's been various renditions of concierge apps, but there wasn't anything quite where I could get, other than TaskRabbit. And TaskRabbit is a slightly different concept, which we won't talk about on this show, but
No.
it's owned by IKEA now, and it's really focused on the handy man. And
Yeah,
that's
the more physical aspect of handyman life, which helps the handyman. We're looking for people who are going to do everyday tasks for us that swiftly can do that. That frees up the time for the entrepreneur to focus either on their business, focus on their family, focus on their health, be able to take care of the mundane tasks that we don't like doing.
You said it better than I would say that sometimes.
Well, I love the idea. Like I saw what you guys when you applied to be on the show, and I was like, okay, this is very interesting because I haven't had this concierge. It's kind of like a butler service. It's someone that's going to take care of the stuff that you don't want to, but it doesn't cost the same as hiring a full-time butler. Like, okay, Tuesday I have these tasks to get done. Okay, these are my priorities. These aren't. So I can hire someone on Swiftly to go do it for me while I take care of the high priority tasks.
Exactly. That's it. That's literally it. And it was just that frustration, right? So when I didn't know anything about last mile logistics. I knew nothing about, I'm an office guy, pen pusher as they call it, 9 till 5. And so I took a voluntary redundancy and I learned everything about the last mile logistics. We tried various versions of franchises. It didn't work. And I realized that there's a massive gap in the market, and there still is, right? That you feel have a problem that needs to be fulfilled. And you've just mentioned it. So we decided to build Swiftly. It was just myself in London, and imagine if I came to your house in 2018, 2019, and I knocked on your door and I said, Phil, listen, you're busy, you're podcast mogul. You don't want to go to Trader Joe's. Leave that to me. I'll go to Target, Trader Joe's, CVS, and guess what else? I'd even take your dog out for a walk and bring him or her back for you. You'd think I was crazy and call the police, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I probably would. I would thank you and then call the police.
Yeah, but pretty much, right? So that literally, I'm going against the grain here, where Uber was just Uber and it's just cars being delivered, and Grubhub is just Grubhub. And there were a few companies doing grocery shopping, but there was no one actually doing what we're doing. And I kept on coming across the obstacle of, this will never work. Whatever. And 2019, I was in Seattle. It had 3 cases of COVID. This is how fresh it was. And I'm trying to sell this idea to people who are going to give us some money. Nobody wanted to give us any money. I'm like, right, this COVID thing, it's a myth. I came back to Europe and the whole world was shut down, right? The whole world was shut down. And I had beta tested Swiftly about a year and a half. We 6 figures business, we got customers, whatever. Okay. 2020, global shutdown. Everybody and their mum is now doing grocery shopping. Everybody and their mum is now offering this type of service in a low-hanging fruit type of way. And, in June of 2020, we had some investment on 12. The reason why I'm telling you the story is because those that are listening, I want them to understand that it is possible. And so in June 2020, we had two offers on the table, 7% of your business, and we'll give you X amount of money from two major, one was an airline, one's a major retailer, global, national, multinational retailer. But we couldn't fulfill the mandate. They wanted to look at our back end, say, okay, look at your back end, we'll read your code. But by the way, we've just invested in a company that's similar to yours. So we want to read your code to make sure that it's non-compete. And then we might invest in your business. But then again, there's a company out there called Free Words. We want you to JV with them because we've also kind of might be doing some. And I was like, well, this sounds a bit fishy. Maybe I might just have a great idea. You want to, I don't know, see if So we said, thank you very much for your time. But what I had done is I had crowdfunded my own assets. So crowdfunded what I had and put into the business. We had some freelancers on board, and we're in the second lockdown now. We hit a third one, burning cash. Can't go out and do any business. So we pro bono as much as we can and try to keep the flame going. But we had to turn the lights out. And we turned the lights out because you had everybody coming out. I mean, in no bad word, Gorillas, 200 million here, Getty's coming in with Abu Dhabi investor, whoever, billion. And I'm just Joe Blogs. You just want to start concierge business. I can't compete at that point in time with 200 million, 100 million, and $1 billion investments. So we called it a day, and I literally went on vacation for 7 months. 7 months straight, I tell you no lie, vacation. But what I learned in that period there was let them do what they need to do. And when we come out of this, if we come out of it, we'll know exactly what we don't want to do. And that's exactly what happened. So as we came out last year before, I realized that, right, everybody's gone after the low-hanging fruit. Everybody's doing grocery shopping. Everybody's doing hot food. And everybody has an app and it's delivering. But that's not solving the problem. The problem is I need to free up my time. And I don't want to have 5 or 6 different apps. I don't want 5 or 6 different service charges. And I don't want 5 or 6 different subscriptions. So we're still in the game. So we relaunched the business in North America and built a team out in North America. And we've tried various different ways of using creative funding and leverage to build the business to the product that it is today, and use events to offset the amount of money that we would need to spend on marketing, i.e. doing some stuff around the Super Bowl, the Arizona Golf Open, NASCAR, etc. Just really trying to understand the market, because I personally have never launched a business in the US. So, I mean, for me to just skip over to the pond and say, right, we're going to do this, I don't, you'd call me crazy again, right? But we did it and we've done it. And, one of the reasons why I was late on your show is we're actually going for a full-scale launch on the 12th of September. And, we got, quite a fair few hundred people coming to our event, and, we've got the press coming along, and we're doing it in the East Coast. And I'll tell you more about it offline. And, if your listeners do follow us, then they'll find out. I just want to keep it hush for the team that are running the project itself. But, all in all, the reason why I'm kind of going on this rant is that we started something that we didn't know anything about. I mean, I knew nothing about last mile logistics, last 10th of a mile, but I knew there was a problem, because if I had that problem, then you've got that problem. Everybody's got the problem. And we don't want to be confined to, well, I can only have Target or Walmart or Sprouts. I want Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's will never partner with anybody. So if Trader Joe's are never going to partner with anybody, and I only shop in Trader Joe's, I need someone to go to Trader Joe's for me, because guess what? I've got the kids, the dog, and the wife in the back, and we're going in the opposite direction, but I want to meet you back here in an hour because I don't have time to do that. Can you get me someone to do that, Mr. Platform, Mogul, Leader, whatever? No, you can't. Guess what? There's room for Swiftly, and that's what the problem we're solving, and that's why I'm here talking to you, because, I think, we've got room to make it happen. We are going to make it happen.
It's a great app. And, it's something that busy entrepreneurs will need, busy boss moms, boss ladies, even CEOs of companies will be needing this thing, because it frees up their time. They can give it to their executive assistant, and the executive assistant can even get freed up sometimes, take care of tasks that they don't need to take care of, and get those things done, so that everybody's life is better. It's an improvement of everyone's life and it's a very it's in a niche. It's a very niche market, but it's in a very important niche that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, and I appreciate your comments. And it's just that, you know, the little guy in the corner. I was in Vegas a couple months ago, and stayed at the Wynn. And when we got there, it was about 10 o'clock at night, and the concierge was closed. But it would have been nice for me to go to concierge and say, "Hey, what's the best restaurant in town? I don't want to eat at the Wynn, right? Where do I go for sightseeing? I don't want to see the fountains at the large. I've seen them a million times. There was no one there. If I had someone, an expert in the app, you could say, hey, guess what? You can go, and if you want me to book anything extra for you, we can make that happen. And that's what we're bringing to the table, Phil. I mean, we're really I'm betting all odds on this, telling you, mate, betting all odds on this. And we just want to make it happen. It's not about whether you're a CEO and you earn X amount of dollars. It's about just lifestyle is having everything delivered on demand. That's our motto. Luxury is affordable. You shouldn't have to go to these platforms out there or service providers who charge 80K, 40K, 60K. I've talked to a lot of them, just to deliver a service that we can for a fraction of the price. And it's not about us trying to outprice someone. It's just, well, the information's there. You just need someone that's wanting to do it. And there's tons of people right now in this economy that don't have jobs, or other entrepreneurs that will spin out of our business who say, right, Cameron, you're solving a problem, but guess what? There's a bigger problem that I want to solve, and there's a gap in the market. Here we go. And there's a next version of whatever was born out of Swiftly's frustration. And that's what we want to do, and empower everybody whilst we're doing it. And that's my mission, really. Yeah, I do love money. And I like loss. I can't stop talking. I love talking. I'm a great salesman. I'm a great salesman. I'm telling you this. But guess what? It's brought me here to you today. It's brought me to meet people, to build Swiftly across the pond that I've never even thought of doing it. And I said to my EA, who's actually part of our company 3 years ago, I said to her, I sat in my office and said, we're going to launch a business in North America. And she looked at me like, dude, you're crazy. And I called her up and I said, guess what, Jeanette? We're coming to your town. And she was like, flabbergasted. She's now on my team. She's part of our business. And we're going from strength to strength. See, we love people to patronize us, but if you can't because we're not in your location, keep an eye on us. But the real reason why I can't stop talking is I just want anyone listening to just understand that whatever you speak and whatever you think you could just make happen, you just got to keep doing it. And I just don't talk about Swiftly, but we just got involved personally in an organic fish farm. And it was a joke. It actually started off as a joke. I bet, and I was like, well, started reading about this, but we actually consume really bad food from the supermarket. But wouldn't it be great if you could actually have an organic fish farm? So we're testing out. It's not big. It's about 20,000 fish. It's not a lot. But if we can feed these fish organically, get them to grow to a certain size, then, and they're all clean and bred in the right way, we're one step further to actually helping and solving another problem, which is, not killing the fish that naturally grow in the ocean. Wow. Yeah.
My God, I love this, that you're solving problem after problem, Cameron. It's inspiring. It's great for my audience to know that they can focus on one while having those side projects and help building those things. My question for you is, I know you answered a quick question here, what you want to see yourself in 5 years. You mentioned playing golf, which is an interesting thing, but where do you see Swiftly in 5 years?
In 5 years, I would love us to have solved multitude of problems in multiple regions. So we want to grow out of the US. One of the reasons why we relaunched the business in North America was I felt that it would give us that springboard to then come back into the UK, which we will be doing, and also into Europe, but use the experience and the knowledge that we've learned across the East and the West and the Mid and South to really grow and solve problems across, because it's not just about, being $1 million company, but it's about how far can we reach in the 5 years. I want us to be able to not just reach, but also been impactful as well, socially and responsibly also.
I like that. Oh my God. Well, and what are some of the things that you and Swiftly are doing to impact the world socially?
Well, I support a number of charities myself personally, and we have a certain amount of the revenue that we will get and that we do get going to people who are less fortunate than us. So we're working with one of these water charities to provide wells in various third world countries. So we've got a plan in place to ensure that some villages and towns can get some clean drinking water as first and foremost during the Christmas periods as well. Inspired by one of the uh, mm, virtual mentors, as you call it, Tony Robbins, is to try and feed as many people as we can, and also just volunteer as much as we can. I've recently signed up to the prostate cancer for men awareness, so I'm going to be doing a fun run for that as well. So there's a lot that we want to do as well, just not, build and change, but support other social causes.
No, I love that. I love seeing entrepreneurs also working in that those social causes, helping people from across the world to have a better life, so that the next generation could be even better and stand again on the shoulders of giants, like our virtual mentor Tony Robbins says. Your greatness comes when you stand on the shoulders of others, and acknowledge that. So I want to thank you for that, and that's a great social command. In your journey with Swiftly, has there been a moment that you're like, wow, we were able to accomplish something, or you got this amazing feedback from either one of your helpers or one of the clients that use your program?
I mean, every day is a constant wow for me because, when you embark on a journey such as what we have, you never know what's at the end of the tunnel. And well, again, it's when you go at Steve Harvey, actually, I don't know if he originated, but you're going through hell or you're going through a dark tunnel, you just don't stop in the middle, you keep going because the light comes out at the other end. And every tunnel we go through, whether it's building the app or talking to customers, doing podcasts, getting involved in things, it's a constant wow, because we realize that actually we are needed, and people by people. Our product's all about the you and I, and being able to talk to you, Phil, and fix your problem, which is unique from mine or Tom's or Barry's. But to answer your question, what has been our greatest wow moment is just simply being able to reach those that we have to today and just get the validation that it's important that we continue to do what we do and not to give up, because I could have easily given up when we were out of cash. I put my own funds in there, and let's just say you put $100, $100,000 or 200 grand and you burned your cash, you sold your house, you got no money, no more money, your wife's about to leave you, your dog's sleeping in your car. Who give up, right? You go work at Starbucks, but we never did that. One of my business mentors, who, because of him, why we continue to do this, he always says to me, his only person. So if you believe you can do it, then you can do it. If you feel that you can't, then that's fine. You're always going to get validation from your customers, always. But only person that's going to stop you is you. And if I'm unstoppable, then the product is unstoppable and we'll win at the end of the day. How we win is another way, is another thing.
I love that. I love how you said, like, how you win. As long as you know you can get to your goal and you're not fixated on one particular path, you're always going to end up reaching that goal. And I think that's a valuable lesson. So thank you very much for sharing that, Cameron. We are coming to the end, so we're going to jump into the spark question of the show. It's my favorite question to ask entrepreneurs because it's always a very varied type answer. But I snap my fingers. We have your 10-year-old self standing in front of you. What's one piece of advice you would give your 10-year-old self?
This is a very deep question, and a 10-year-old me, is the total personality wise of who I am today. What would I tell a 10-year-old me? I'll tell my 10-year-old self, is just believe in you. And I suppose people hear that all the time. It's not just about believing you. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change who you are. And if you have to pivot, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to start from the beginning. And success is never a straight line. I ran track. I was, always winning. At 10, I was always winning. And right up until 16, I was like, in the local authorities, I was a star performer. But anytime, challenges came across, I felt I'd beat myself up. But if I'd had a conversation to talk to my 10-year-old self again, I'd say, don't ever beat yourself up. Use these things as lessons and build upon them and go from strength to strength. You might not need to build swiftly straight away. You might need to start your fish farm, or you might need to go and build a recycling plant, or you might just need to go and get a job, or just learn from someone. Never be afraid to take advice, and never be afraid of constructive criticism. You can't get my words out these days. So that's it.
Right, and it's late. It's late. It's late for you, so I understand.
But just talk to yourself a lot, and have a relationship with, a spiritual relationship with yourself as well, and that will take you far.
I love it. Greatest piece of not the greatest, but a great piece of advice to hear it and have that spiritual connection with yourself is something that's so important that we need to come back to. Cameron, I'm going to jump off stage here. I want you to let my audience know where they can find you, follow you, how they can check out Swiftly if it's in their area. So the floor, sir, is yours.
Well, you can find us swiftlyteam.com. My name is Cameron Black. You can also reach me at cameron@swiftlyteam.com as well. Feel free to download the app. And if you're in Phoenix or Ohio, please feel free to drop by to one of our workshops. We're more than happy to have you.
Excellent. Cameron, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, talking about Swiftly, talking about your journey. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you very much for having me, Phil.
To my audience, as you know, you can check out the show notes down below to find all the information about Cameron and the Swiftly group. I want to thank Cameron again for being on the show and for you guys for listening. And always remember to invest in yourself. Hey, digital entrepreneurs, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Now, if you're looking to take your podcast to the next level, like most of these entrepreneurs have taken their business to the next level, to scale it, if you will, make sure you check out my brand new newsletter. Links are down below. It is called the Monetization Mogul Syndicate newsletter, or it could be Phil Better Stories of Monetization Moguls, or Making Moguls is what I do. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. But I want to thank you very much for listening. And as always, remember to invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.